Hello everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to another video. I'm a game developer and I've been doing it for 4 years, and today I'm going to be talking you through how you build out a community and how to manage a community as best as possible. So to start off with, let's talk about consistency. Consistency is probably the most important thing that you could do in any community, no matter what it is for. You've got to make sure you're producing content for people to enjoy or for people to learn from or whatever. Because, if you're not consistent, then people aren't going to be, they're not going to remember you. You've got to make yourself memorable as much as possible. That's how the community builds up, and that's when people start talking about you and what you do, and then you get more people. That's sort of how communities work. They build up over time, and they're not going to build up if you aren't consistent with your work and if you're taking frequent breaks. Or irregular breaks more. So you can take frequent breaks, but you shouldn't take irregular breaks. Next up, you need to be enthusiastic about what you're doing. If you're not enthusiastic about the work you're producing, then why would anyone be interested in doing the same thing as you? You're supposed to be you've got to think of yourself as an idol. As weird as it sounds, you've got to think of yourself as though you're inspiring others to work towards your goals. And if you don't inspire them, then they're not going to be very interested in what you're doing. Some people can be a lot more skilled than you, but still be inspired by your work. It doesn't really matter about the skill, it matters about how you sort of portray yourself to your community. You've got to make sure that you're, enthusiastic about the work you're producing, because at the end of the day, you're trying to sell yourself to them, they're not trying to sell themselves to you. And if you don't sell yourself well enough, you're not going to build up that community at all. Leading on from that, you're selling yourself, right? So you've got to give back to the community. If people are helping you by subscribing to you, liking your videos, liking your tweets, whatever you're putting the community on or wherever you're building it up from, you've got to make sure that you're giving back in some way, shape or form. For game development, for example, you could just do some tutorials, you could do talks like this, like what I'm doing right now. This is giving back to my community. I'm telling them how they could do the same thing as what I'm doing. And that is giving back to them as a token of my gratitude for their ongoing support. And that's something that you could do very easily. You could just get out a webcam, get out a camera, talk about something, like a topic, a controversial topic, any topic that you think you can give your 2 cents on. It doesn't even need to be controversial. It could be, about marketing or how you can make a certain mechanic in a game, a tutorial, for example. People are going to be very, very appreciative of that if you give that to them, because they're going to be very appreciative that you're trying to help them out, and in return they'll help you. It's a help me help you sort of thing. It sort of goes for a lot of the game dev community. That's a lot of the thing that you do. You help other developers and then they help you back, and that's sort of how you grow. Next up, you've got to make sure that you have an area where your community can be interact with one another. Your community will be much stronger if they interact with each other more and more, and it sort of binds them together a bit more, and then they're going to keep talking about you. They'll keep remembering you, especially if you get involved as well. We'll talk a bit more about getting involved with your community very shortly. A place like a Discord server, a forum, a Twitter, anything you can think of where your community can be sort of just placed onto, because people are going to be very interested in what people take from your videos or from your content, because it also makes them feel safe in that community. That's why a lot of people do join the communities like that, is because they feel safe with that community. They want to sort of feel like they're part of something. And you've got to make them feel like they're part of something by just literally, again, you could just have them on a Discord server and they can interact with each other, and that will immediately make them feel like they're part of something. So another really important thing is that you need to have multiple platforms where your community is based. You can't just base your platform on YouTube or just Twitter or just Reddit. You need to have multiple platforms, because it's like sort of revenue streams. Imagine it like that. You've got to have as many, well, you don't have to, but it's a pretty good idea to have as many revenue streams as you possibly can. And if you have more and more, you'll get more money. It's a little bit like that with the community. The more platforms that you have, the more reach you'll get, and the more people that will be interested in joining your community. And again, that sort of links back to having a hub for your community. Having those multiple platforms will sort of combine all of the platforms into one, so they can all interact with each other. which is very important, and you can interact with your community a lot easier, and it's very important that you are interacting with your community and not just them interacting with one another. So that leads on to the last point, which is building a more personal connection with your community. Now, I'm not talking befriending everyone, although that can be quite helpful, but just sort of making it feel like they're in a community with you, not just in a random community. You got to remember that this is your community, not their community. They will feel very, very attached to you, and that makes them feel like even more of something. And you've got to, again, that's giving back to the community, and it shows you're consistent with talking to them, and it also shows you're enthusiastic about building a community. They will feel very, very valued if you talk to them, even for just one minute of talking to them will make them feel, or 1 minute a day will make them feel like they're part of something bigger than just a community. And it's very important that they don't lose sight of what the community is. So again, talking to them will make them realize, will remind them that this is your community and they're here for you. Now, I'm not saying be selfish and say, this is my community, stop talking about other stuff. You've got to make sure they feel safe and happy with being in that community. And I think that's probably the most important thing, is actually making it feel like you accept your community no matter who they are. Acceptance of the community is very important, no matter their ethnic origin, their orientation, for anything. You've got to make sure that you accept them. Now, one thing I would make sure you keep out of it, unless this is your community, is politics or any controversial topics or anything depressing or anything like that. You don't want people getting dumbed down by the other members of the community. You've got to make sure you set some ground rules for that hub for your community, because otherwise people are going to wreak havoc. So if you would like to join my community, you could join my Discord, the link will be in the description, or you can also buy my game on Steam for about $5, so it'd be really appreciated if you could try it out, and give us feedback. There'll also be the Head Tilt Discord. You can go on any of those and request any suggestions you have. If you did take something from this video, please do give it a like, comment what you thought, subscribe to my channel if you are excited for more content like this. I'll be producing some more sort of videos, sort of dev talks like this. I'm hoping to have more of a development side of things very shortly, and I hope that this has helped you in at least some way. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, put them in my Discord, wherever you want, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Alright, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys! Whew.